If you had magic, what's the first thing you would do? Open a magic shop to satisfy the heart of the magic dream? Harness the power of fantasy? Let us explore the deep alley magic treasure house. Fantasy adventure is a life's most precious wealth. Let's brave the unknown journey. Serafina, Silver Mist. So we're going to open this up, and yep, that is literally page 1 of the instruction manual. And the best part is at the bottom it says, picture is only for reference. The actual object shall prevail. Sounds quite epic. So let's open this up and prevail. All right, here we go. I thought this would be the perfect time to do this little magic treasure shop. You know, it's almost Halloween, everything, and it's the last kit I have of the year. So, and it's a good one. This one is, as far as the scale, it's just like the Magic Owl House I did. That's a little more Harry Potter. It's about the same scale as that, so it's smaller than a real life, I would say. So as we open it up, the first thing we see is glue, but it's just regular old white glue, and I will tell you from the future, it's terrible. It's so watery, it's basically useless, so I did not use that. It's got a lot of little tiny bits and bobs, but not too bad. Just lots and lots of beads, and I'm also noticing going through this, there's no plants, and it's not that bad. It's not that bad. We can do this. And of course, the fun book with the great preface on the front. Now, as I unpack these things, I like to put this flat pack stuff. You know, it's usually all the flat wood pieces, the paper pieces. I always get a big old gallon plastic bag to put it all in, because we will lose those if we don't put them all together. Just organize. That is probably my biggest advice before you start anything. Organize everything so that you lay out all your little baggies of items. They're usually all labeled A, B, C, D, or 1, 2, 3, or something like that. And then you usually have a big old flat pack like this. And I always put it in a bag so that I don't lose them all. Or at least keep them together. And let's get started. Now, I'm not sure exactly who the manufacturer is on this one. It's definitely not one of the big 3, but this one I'm sure is from China, which is perfectly fine. And they have kind of the same format in their instruction books. I've done this one, the Owl House, and you remember the Dome Garden House? They kind of have the same layout where they put everything in the book, which is nice because you know how Mayberry Street, Rural Life, those they like to keep their little cheat sheets of what piece goes where separate, basically. These they're all together. And another thing that's kind of nice is when you're making one item, they put it all in one grouping. So, for example, we're going to make this shelf, and they're going to put all the things that go on the shelf in the same area to make. So, you make one thing, you're going to make all the rest all in one grouping, if that made sense. But this one, this is a big yellow shelf, so we're just going to give this a go. Now, I'd found this itty-bitty little tray. It was going to be for my dollhouse, but I decided, you know what? This is absolutely perfect for tiny little beads that constantly roll across my table all the time. So I'm going to use it for this from now on. And it's pink and it's got a cat and it's cute. So I'm going to use it as my little bead tray. So in this grouping, they put it in order step 1, step 2, step 3. I usually jump to the furniture first. Make the big furniture first, let it dry while I'm making the little tiny stuff. It works in my head. You can do it exactly in the steps that they provide. Either way, it doesn't matter. So what we're going to do is basically, and I'm going to give this glue a try, and I'm going to instantly realize that it's terrible. I used it for this one piece, and after that I switched to my Eileen's fast dry, fast tack glue. It's just, I did not trust this glue at all to keep things together. Especially when you get to the beads and things like that. There is no way this is going to hold together. While that's drying, I'm going to build the little books. So it's pretty straightforward. Now this throws me off at first because the sticker is bigger than the piece of wood. So you're going to line it up. It's pretty straightforward there. And then you're just going to let the sides flap over. Just leave them as is. And another thing I noticed, these stickers, sometimes they just come right off the wood. So maybe we'll find a use for this school glue stuff and just glue down these paper pieces down. Because after a while, when I set them aside, they did pop off on me. So no matter how much I squished them. So I would suggest gluing them on top of sticking them. We also have a little decorative piece that goes on the top of the shelf, and it's paper. Now I have a lot of leftover double sticky tape from other kits. So I decided that on the paper pieces, I'm going to use my double sticky tape. Use it up because, use what you got. Why buy more stuff when I got lots and lots of leftovers of this stuff? Why not? And it's a lot easier to use than glue, especially with paper. I know somebody suggested a glue stick, which I have to. It's back to school season, isn't it? I'm gonna have to just snag a few of those and give that a try. See if it works. And you have a few of these. I say they're like decorative tiles. They actually end up being drawers later, but so you're just gonna stick the sticker on. And again, if that sticker doesn't stay on as well as you like, a dab of glue won't hurt you. Just put a little bit on there. Some stick really well, some don't. I don't know. That was my luck anyway. And we have this little piece of paper that just goes on the piece of wood, and I'm using the double sticky tape on this. I'm getting to like that I have like 5 sheets of it because you only use a little bit when you're building. When I built the last thing, I used a lot of double sticky tape, but I also used a lot of glue too. Just kind of, you'll get a feel of what glues you like over time if you do enough of them. All right, now we're gonna stick our little faux fronts of our cabinet here, and I flipped it upside down, or flipped it so that I can kind of make those flush to the front. So I laid the shelf down, and then I stuck all the shelvings. So you have to think backwards a little bit. I mean, it's kind of like a puzzle piece. It only goes in one spot. And then just kind of pushed them all the way through and then glued it in the back. You won't see the back. No. This is when I'm like, I'm using this. Yes. Now when I am using a glue that I purchased myself, I always use a bottle that has a skinny end on it. So I got this bottle from a previous kit, and I just save them because they have a really nice tiny opening in the beginning, or opening in the top, and that I really like. So I'm going to use that forever and ever and ever. As long as you keep it clean and keep the cap on, you can reuse this bottle over and over and over and over and over and over. And I've also seen them in some of the craft stores. You can buy it, just empty little bottles. My tip of the day to get good, small, good things to build things is go into the model aisle. You know, where they have model trains and model cars and things like that. Go in that aisle. They have some good tools that is very, very useful. And one of them is, little bottles like this. All right, now that we got our main shelf done, that's what I mean. I like to do the main big thing first, let that dry completely, and then we can do all this stuff. So we're making a tiny little, it's kind of like a plate holder. It is a plate holder. So we're going to take two of these little pieces and just put it at an angle, just like that. Set it down and let it dry. And this is right when you're relieved that you switched your glue, because that other glue, no way. I like my fast tack because it does literally just sticks instantly if you put a tiny, tiny amount. And you're going to make two of those. And we're going to make two little decorative plates. So you're going to use these flat filigree beads here. And then you have two plates. And you'll notice these are stickers. I do put a little bit of glue on this one because I don't trust it not staying on there. And then you put each plate on its little stand. Definitely don't stick these plates on the stand until that stand is dry, because it will fall apart. So, glue, 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 dry, dry, dry. Throughout this kit, you are going to make a bunch of books, and how I'm going to do it exactly how they have it in the book, where they have groupings like we were talking about before. So anything that goes with this display cabinet, we're going to make just for that, unless it says, make an extra one, which it will in this one. So just make it as you go, and then that way you don't have these teeny little pieces just floating around on your table that I will guarantee you I will lose them. And then I'll have to remake it somehow creatively. So just make it just for that particular piece and just go it that way. It seemed to work for me. Again, even though these are stickers, I do put a dabble of glue here and there, because once I set these down, you're going to find that they'll just all of a sudden just magically pop open. So it's like, glue them. And you can't have a magic treasure house without crystal balls. So we're gonna make a lot, but here's 2 of them. And you just basically put the little sparkly bead onto the little flat bead there. Easy peasy. And I like to kind of situate it where, you know, the holes of the bead are kind of to the top so it looks right. There we go. Madame Leota would be so proud. Woo! I will say, get used to making these little guys, because there's a lot of different, and they turn out really neat. They're all slightly different, but they're all kind of, I guess, potion bottles or crystal balls. They're the same concept. You're just stacking up as you go. And again, I am so glad I switched glues, because there's no way that watery school glue would hold this. Even if you want to go one step further, especially with metal and plastics, go with the alcohol glue or the super glue. That might work even. But sometimes be careful, depending on the super glue you use, it does discolor plastic and metals, so be careful. The Gorilla Glue I have pretty good luck with, and that's usually kind of what comes with the kits. When they give you alcohol-based glue, it's that gel type, and it doesn't seem to discolor things. So that seems to be the safest one. But mostly I'm going to use good old Eileen's tacky glue. All right, we need a magic wand now, a fancy magic wand. So you're going to make a little stand, and it's just stacked up beads. And this can be tricky. If you need to, put the first 2 beads down, let it dry so they don't swirl around on you, and then put that second one on for the other one. There is a reason for that. It's so that you could put your magic wand on there as a display. And you're going to make 2 of these. Once I made 1, then I realized, oh, I have to make 2. So make 2 while you're at it. Now to make the magic wand, it's not too hard. I will say, if you can, try to keep your wire long and then trim it down after you build it, because you need a handle. If it's tricky for you to use or do tiny things, sometimes if you just keep your wires long, like I do here with the copper wire as I'm wrapping, just keep it long and then trim it to size. Believe me, it's a lot easier to manipulate. And you're just going to wind it around. There's no right or wrong way to do this. And they give you plenty of wire. So if you wanted to wind it even further, go ahead. And you're just going to make 2 of these little windy things. And then I clip it to size. And then just tuck that pokey wire down with your pliers. Once you get your wand part, now you need the magic crystals at the end, right? Now this is where you can choose. You can use, like I did, the Eileen's glue, or you can use the alcohol-based glue. Either way, just stick your round bead or the little collar-looking one and your crystal at the top. Ooh, there we go. And let it dry. And you'll make a red one and a blue one. Once you got your little wands and your stands, then you're gonna very carefully balance them on these beads. This is my advice. Make sure that stand is dry before you do this. You will get mad. And then balance it on there. You kind of have to fidget with it until the weight is balanced right, is centered, because it'll tip. And it's a little tricky. Just take your time. You can do it. It does work out in the end, I promise. I did 2 of them. All right, all the stuff that we built, now we got to put it on our shelf, which is nice and dry now. And you're going to see when we put this, these books, I say in quotes, those little flaps will stick on the sides there. So I use those flaps as my gluing point, basically. And it's going to be, well, at least for me, it was just slightly smaller than the hole. So just kind of push them out until they work right. All right, before we get too far, I want to make the little handles. Again, I'm going to leave my wire long. Don't cut them and then curl them. You could, but I find it's a lot easier to curl it, and I use my round nose pliers here. I use the curve of it, and that gives you a nice little perfect half circle there, and then cut it to size. And you're going to make 5 of those. And then I'm just going to stick them on where they say. So this makes the little tiles look like drawers now. Probably the trickiest part is getting these little drawer handles to stand upright. And I did let this dry before I started decorating the rest of the shelf. Because as soon as you tip this up, it's all those shelves or handles are just going to go boop. Which is fine if they're all consistent, I guess. They'll just be droopy handles. Alright, now that we know our handles aren't going to droop too much, it's time to put all the stuff in there. I am finding that using the double stick tape is so nice when you're doing stuff like this because it instantly sticks. You will know that when you use the glue and you try to put little bottles and things, they just want to flop and fall. And this tape, I'm falling in love with it a little bit. It definitely helps putting these little tiny things and letting it stay. That's a big deal. So we're just gonna decorate the little shelf. And the last piece, don't want to put this before, is just a little decorative top. And this shelf is done. All right, we're going to do the next group here. And it's basically a chair and a desk. It labels it as desk and book. It's a desk. It does have a book and a little chair. We have a little desk clock. It's basically just the sticker stuck on the matching piece of wood. A couple more crystal balls, because of course you do. Now I originally did the stands upside down, but the spiky parts go down. Flip down like little feet. Don't do what I do. burn books. We've done these a few times, huh? So, best thing for this is I would say try to pre-crease it. So I'm using a toothpick or my cuticle stick here and just crease where the pages would fold. It makes that little Z fold a lot easier. Another thing that's cool on this kit is everything has printing on it, and it is legible. You can read it, and a lot of it is Harry Potter. So there's a lot of Harry Potter stuff in here. Now I'm gonna glue all these shut, and then I kind of looked ahead to see, because sometimes they like the books open, sometimes they like them closed, So I'm just going to clamp these with my little clothespins here so that they can stay a little bit closed. And then one stays open. So don't glue all the pages closed until you know exactly where they are. And I believe all 3 of these are going to be open, so don't glue the pages. All right, we've done this before. Another little stand. And there's going to be a few of these, so you're going to get good at them. Only one on this one. Actually 2, sorry. There's 2. And this time, instead of plates, you're going to stick 2 books on them. Wait till these dry, and then stick your books on. And you want them open so that, we're reading about butterflies and magic wands and things. So we want to be able to reference them as we're doing our potions, right? Now we're going to make a chair. Now my pieces were a little bit floppy, so I did put some glue, and if they have little knobbies as you take them out of the main wood piece, just file it down. I use a nail file. I find it's really easy to use with tiny little pieces. Just a good nail file. And we'll just put the little chair together. Very gothic. It's cool looking. I like it. I know these are all laser cut. One day, when I'm a billion trillionaire, so no time soon, I'm going to get myself a laser cutter. I think that would be really fun. Make our own pieces, right? And as I was making these, I did debate to paint the edges. But then I thought, it kind of, adds to that, old grisly gothic wizard house. It's well worn, so I just left it alone. Plus, I didn't want to do the extra step. Let's be honest. But you definitely could. Now that we have the chair, let's go ahead and make the table too. It's pretty straightforward. Just build the bottom and work your way up. As we go through this kit, it's not that difficult. It really isn't. And it's all, if you've made kits before, it's all techniques we've used before. It's just, the only thing different on this kit is it's smaller. The scale is just a smidgen smaller than a regular kit. Regular, I say, like the Roll Lifes and the Mayberry Streets and those. It is a smaller scale. So it can be a little more fiddly. Now I decided to put the trim on first before putting it on the base. It says to do it put the top down and then put the trim on. I don't think it matters either way. as long as you get the same result in the end. All right, so now let's decorate the top of our table. I like how it just says stick it. It does give you the order to do it so that you can layer the mess on the... It's organized chaos. That's how my desk is. So you want to put the papers down first on the bottom and then layer your books and your magic stuff right on top. You're also going to notice that there's stuff that you made that doesn't go on this table, but it does come into play later. So just set those little guys aside, like the open books on the stands and things like that. They're going to go in one of the next little shelves that we're going to build. All right, now we're going to build this little, it's kind of like the library, what did you call it? The card catalog looking kind of shelf. So the same thing, we're going to double up 2 pieces. So glue those 2 together. Now there's a lot of little shelves here, but don't freak out over it because you're only going to technically make 3 actual drawers. And it's going to be from this cardboard piece. And it's a little bit awkward, so kind of overfold it so that it kind of goes in more and then glue the corners. It's kind of annoying to build because these... This cardboard is really, really stiff, which is good. But gluing it, you're going to have to glue the corners and then hold it there for about a minute. So hold it for about until the next commercial or something. And then you're going to do that 3 times. Now you're going to have a whole bunch of these little drawer fronts, and they want you to label them. They are numbered 1 through 12 kind of thing. So I just lined them up and then just stuck the little numbers on there. Use your tweezers and tools and take your time. Now you're going to have your 3 actual drawers stuck to 3 of the fronts. And you do have to pay attention to the number. If it's going to bug you that these drawers aren't in order. So do pay attention to which number goes to which drawer. And basically, the way they have it in the diagram, it's kind of 1 from each line of shelves. So you're going to pick like number 1 and then maybe number 6 and just do it so it makes sense, basically. If you did it out of order, no big deal. We'll just pretend that, they didn't put the drawers back in the right spot. That happens too. Now we're going to make a few of these little envelopes, and it's going to show that on the sticker page there's a lot of them. I'm just going to make them as I go. I could make them all at once, but again, you don't want to lose them because you don't know when you're going to use them later on. So I'm just going to make them as needed, and you just fold them in half. And sometimes these guys just do not want to stick to themselves. So if you need to, put some glue in there. we have a few of these big envelopes too. So again, same thing, just fold them in half. And we're going to have a bunch of these little newspapers. So you're going to, I folded it in half just to find the middle, and then cut them in half, and then you're going to roll them up like little rolls of newspaper. You also have this map, and it doesn't show until the end, but basically you're just going to roll it up just like you did the newspaper, just bigger. All right, now we're going to fill our little drawers, and just keep, no matter what you put in there, we got a bunch of little things, just keep it towards the front, because they're just going to kind of get glued into the shelf just a little bit, like they're open and there's stuff stuffed in there. So if you keep it more towards the front, it'll be easier to glue into your shelf. All right, so my best advice on this one is to build it upside down, just like we did the other shelf. So we're just gonna kind of place them where they go, and then glue them from behind. They do fit right in there. And as you go, just keep in mind that you're keeping spaces for where your full drawers are going to go. And just put it in random. There's no exact placement for these. Except for the numbers. You know, you got to do row of 1, row of 2, row of 3. You know. And once you got those going, just put your other drawers in. And they aren't going to fit perfect, and that's the point. They're supposed to be kind of open and full and a little bit of chaos there. And we're going to put our little envelopes and letters on top. I'll say after a while, Some of these did pop open, so I did have to go back and glue them together. That at least with mine, the stickers did not want to stick. Alright, got another little cabinet here. And I'm starting to use my little pink tray for all my little beads. It's very, very handy. So let's start by making the furniture first. You're going to start with the little shelving. It's basically just like the other one. We just got a couple of little extra parts to it. Just follow the steps. And if you need, mine, I had to glue them. So they were way too loose. Now we're going to build the base. So the bottom, do it in the order that they say. It does make sense. Even though I do it out of order as far as building the solid objects, I always build the furniture first, but I still do it step by step within that furniture, if that made sense. Now we're just going to glue the front on. It's going to have little doors on it later on. Put the top on. And we're going to put the little shelf on. I'm gluing everything. This does fit into those little holes there. Alright, we got the main piece done. Another reason I do that is it kind of, you feel like you accomplished something when you get a big solid piece done. Now we'll do all the itty bitty stuff. Now there's 3 little rolled up newspapers. So we'll just, we've done this before, just roll them up. I use my round nose pliers to help me out. You can put it around a stick or a wire or something like that. So, yeah, like I said, you can actually read those. And now we're going to make these 3 little pictures, one that has the crow on it and things like that. So just stick them on, and if they try to come off, glue them down. I did end up gluing almost everything, to be honest. Another clock. See, there's a lot of same techniques. They're just over and over again. So once you get that first cabinet down, you pretty much can build anything in this kit. It's all the same process. And some more little bottles. It's just basically stacking, and you are going to be making more than you need for this particular shelf. So just keep that in mind. It's going to seem like, wait, why do I have an extra part? It's because it comes into play later on a different shelf. And then while we're at it, we might as well make our one shelf here because we got all the parts to it, right? So my favorite, my new favorite is this double sticky tape, and I'm just gonna stick them right on the clock, the little crow picture, and one of the, I guess it's a light or a crystal ball, I'm not sure. It's cool looking. More magic pieces. The only difference with these pieces is the decorative beads go on top instead of on the bottom. So it's kind of like a little lid to a jar. Alright, speaking of jars, we're going to make 5 of these, and not all of them are going to go in the shelf that we're making right now, but they will go later. So if you have a little box to the side, that's what I do, is I put all my pieces kind of in the one little catch-all box, so if they do roll around, they're going to stay within that area, because I have dropped them on the floor and stepped on them and lost to forever and ever. So just keep them all together. And what you're going to do this is just roll the piece of paper up into a cone here, or a cylinder, I guess it would be. And then you're going to put that little rivet right on top. And there you go. You got a bunch of cute little jars with who knows the mysterious substance inside. Ooh. And of course we have more books. Get used to books. It'll be all throughout. Books and scrolls and jars. You're gonna make a lot of them. Alright, we have 2 doors to this cabinet, and they just got little beads for the door handles. So easy enough, we'll just glue those right where we want them. Doesn't have to be exactly like the picture, it's okay. And then we're going to let that dry. We'll put those in last, so if we do this now, they'll be plenty dry by the time we actually need them. Alright, let's fill this little guy up. Now there's going to be things in this that we didn't actually have to build, and they're just straight beads. And we just put them on the shelf like they're crystals that we need for something. Now, before I got too far, I let this dry a little bit because as soon as I tip this up, like I'm doing right now, it would have fell all down. So make sure it's dry before you start picking it up and putting it everywhere, because we need to put some things inside this cupboard. Mainly that book, the long books. We're going to set that in there. Make sure you do that first before you put the stuff in front of it. Now they wanted a little stack of newspapers in there, and I decided to stick them together first before sticking them in the cupboard. It just to make our lives a little easier. And I'm using my double stick tape, or you can use glue. It would have worked the exact same way. Now once you got the stuff inside the way you want it, then you put the doors on. And you just want them a little bit open so you can see inside. You built all that stuff, you want to show it off, right? And ta-da! Got a little magic cabinet. Things are going to start tipping, but this is the time to fix it. And let it dry. Alright, we got one more bookshelf for this video. Because we did a lot. So this one, same thing. We're going to stick the two pieces together to make one thick piece. And this is what I mean. Once you build one shelf with all the stuff in it, all the rest are going to be very easy because we're going to do these little books again. And there's a few of them. Alright, here we got the paper. This is not a sticker, so we'll have to double stick tape or glue it. And that's just our little faux cabinet doors. Oh, now we have something different to make. Boxes. So my advice on this one is definitely try to pre-crease it. So just use your ruler and something blunt. Don't use your X-Acto knife. Don't cut through. So there are little lines there, and just make some creases. That way you'll have some nice sharp folds. And you're just going to fold it up and stick it together, and you'll end up with 5 of those little boxes. All right, now we're gonna stick a backing on here. Oh, I did stick the bottom cabinet in first, and then put the backing on. It centers up. And now we'll fill the little holes with our magic gems. I'm being a little messy with the glue on purpose. This glue dries clear, so it doesn't matter. But these beads, they kind of set kind of on top a little bit. So I want to make sure they stick down. And full disclosure, I lost the red bead that went with this kit, but luckily I have a billion trillion beads. So I did find another one that's pretty reasonable, the same. And that's a good thing is if you ever lose a part, I'm sure you got somewhere something that can replace it. Even if it's not even a bead, it could be anything, you know, a red ball of something. Adapt, right? Improvise. It should look something like that. Something like Thanos's glove. And then you're going to stick this little heart in the middle. And now you're going to stick all your books in there. And this is one of those jars you built before. That's why you built a bunch of them, and they come into play later. You just put it on your shelf, and then you're going to put some things on top too. They have a couple newspapers they wanted up there, and you're just going to fold it twice. So fold it in half and fold it in half again. And I did glue a few of these just so that they're not too... You want them open a little bit like you just threw them up there, but you don't want them to just pop completely open. And there you go. You got your cool little bookshelf. The magic bookshelf. All right. Good start for a brand new kit, right? The Magic Treasure House, the Magic Shop. And we did quite a bit. I think this was a good introduction to this kit. We got lots more to do. So make sure you stay tuned for the rest of it. And I think we'll do this in 3 parts. I'll do a bunch more next, and then we'll do a finale, of course, that everybody likes. So we made crystal balls. We made magic wands. I mean, we made jars and crystals and shelves and rolled up newspapers and boxes. So if you've never done a kit before, this is a great one to do to get those skills behind you. If you can do this, you can do any of them. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and that way you won't miss the next ones that are going to come out. And hit a like if you like it, so then you get more, not just me, but other like-minded folks that into your feed there. And I will see you in the next video. We're going to make some more magic. Bye.